This building is an iconic building, so we want to make sure that this well-loved place is not only respected but looked after in the way it deserves to be looked after. I am absolutely thrilled with the plans of the proposed expansion, because it's also a restoration, and the architects and the Surf Club and Council worked so well together to ensure that the historical values of the club have been preserved.
The DA is a major step forward for us. It's really going to be something that changes the way the club moves forward, and we get to protect the heritage that we've got here, but at the same time we get to build out all the facilities we need for all the different groups of members.
Here we have the oldest surf lifesaving club in the world on iconic Bondi Beach, and we were able to deliver a DA with 0 negative responses. I think that really speaks to how closely we've worked with the community. We've involved them in the project, they understand the project, and they really support the project.
Nobody would argue that the Opera House is not iconic, and nobody would argue that Bondi is not iconic. I think this building in this location is truly iconic, and I think that place and what it does for that place is kind of on par with sort of what the Opera House represents to people when they look at Sydney.
You can see in the Bondi Surf Club project, there's a beautiful balance there between giving what the club needs, more space, and also significantly improving the public domain.
To be able to deliver the floor area that the surf club needed, take away the intrusive elements, but be able to say we're not taking 1 square metre away from the public domain. And that was critical when we then went out to public consultation, as we had to do.
So the solution at Bondi Surf Club was to take the bulk and scale off the original heritage building, making it distinct and separate. And what that allowed was a large basement underground with a courtyard in between. So we're increasing the amount of publicly accessible parkland, but providing much more storage below ground where it doesn't impact the community.
The surf clubs generally along the eastern seaboard tend to have an exclusivity about them. With this new design, an open design with a new courtyard at the rear, there's park connections, there's connections to the pavilion, there will be inclusivity, and that the community will be a lot more involved in the new building when it is finished. And that would definitely be evident with the new museum in the front of the building as well.
At the moment, this building only has one frontage onto the beach, and the new design really becomes a building in the round. So getting that connection in between Bondi Pavilion and the club, but also with the playground. So really activating all the spaces around the building.
When you look at a club like this that is, close to 100 years old now, it really wasn't accommodating women at that time. So I'm really thrilled. We're actually going to be seeing many more facilities for women.
Finally, we're going to have 2 sets of change rooms that are actually going to be exactly equally sized between males and females, but we're also going to have lifts, ramps, we're going to have all sorts of access for people, we're going to have safe spaces for our youth to operate, and we're going to have education spaces where we can train people. It's been 12 years or so that the club's been looking at this process of trying to change things, but it was only when the public-private partnership came in with council and we got the architect involved and everyone was working together as a group that we were really able to get movement on this and really able to make a change.
I think lines of communication are so important. You know, having the ability for the architect to speak to the Heritage Office, to the Perouse Aboriginal Council, to the club, the people that will be using the building, to council and understand their constraints. There's a huge variety of people that need to be involved.
For many decades we were seen as an external stakeholder to our issue or our input, where this process, the Aboriginal community is involved from the very beginning till the end. That just ensures that our story is continually told correctly.
Bondi is a very well-loved area. We often get very divergent views about what should happen, but this project, there was really positive community support, and I think 86.2% of the feedback we got was, completely in favour of the design, which is quite unusual.
I think one of the things that I see when I look at the project and what it does is it restores a respect and a grandeur to that whole part of Bondi. And it's really a very special place, and it deserves to have sort of the highest quality of architecture and respect paid to it. And I think the project really brings that back to that site.
The history of the community is reflected in this building, and it is going to be a much loved and important contribution to the future of our community.
It'll be magic for the whole community. Bondi is an iconic place, and we're going to have both the heritage items and the useful facilities for helping save people on our beach. It'll be fantastic.